Hey guys! Christmas is right around the corner, so I'm ready to get started. So I thought we would do a super cool project. I think it's super cool. We'll see if you guys like it. But I found these risers, or not, they're not risers, but they're going to be. I found these little mini art blocks on Amazon, right? And I found these little squares at the Dollar Tree. And I thought it would be really super cute to make mini risers because the fall is coming, and whenever I imagine a centerpiece during fall, I imagine it being more of a tablescape, not necessarily a round centerpiece. And so if I had multiple mini risers, it would give me a lot of options for when I'm setting up my tablescape. So that is what we're going to do today. And we're going to use one of the new Roycycled decoupage papers. They just came out hot off the presses. And this one is a project block sheet, and it has fall and Christmas on it. But today I'm thinking that we're going to focus more on Christmas. Hi, my name is Royce Hunt Bell, owner and operator of Roycycled Treasures, and we love upcycling, repurposing, and making things to make our home beautiful. Let's get started. So whenever I'm decoupaging, I always like to start with a light base. So we're gonna paint these. I've painted a few of these already. I painted 3. We're actually only gonna make 4 today. So I'm just gonna do a quick coat of a light colored paint on these. And actually, it looks like my paint is darker than the wood, but let's be consistent, right? And so we'll get those painted. I'm just using a regular craft brush, and I'm gonna be using Wise Owl's paint in a color called Restoration. And I'm literally just going to squirt a little bit on here because this is the only one I have left to paint. And there's no sense dirtying up a plate or something for no reason. So I'm just putting it on full strength, you guys. A quick coat. And I'm only going to paint the tops because I'm going to leave the sides and we're going to stain those with some of Wise Owl's glaze. That's all painted and ready to go. So we're going to set this aside and let it dry. So one of the squares that are already dry, we're gonna decoupage these today because I wanna make them super cute. And so we have this decoupage paper, which is partially fall. Give you a super cute fall towel there, some pumpkins. And then each of the designs has a complementary design that goes with it. And so basically the background of this one is also here with just the background. And it's the same way with the Christmas designs. So I want to use, I think these two would be fun. So we have our Santa elves, and then we have kind of the Christmas. So we're going to use these 2 blocks to do this project today. These sheets come in 20-inch by 30-inch sheets. And so the project blocks, you get a lot of mileage on them. You can do a lot of projects. Because today we're only going to use 1/3 of what's available on this sheet in order to finish our project. And so these are perfect. There's nothing wrong with these. So I'll set these aside and I'll use them for a different project. That would be really cute though, a pumpkin on there, wouldn't it? But I digress. I'm going to focus today, you guys, because I already made a decision about what I was going to do. So I'm going to take these 2 sheets, and I figured we'd make 2 with the pattern and 2 with the Santas. I just have a paper plate, you guys. Today I'm going to be using the Rock Hard Top Coat. This is by DIY and Funkature Design. It's a marine grade top coat. So I figure with the risers, if someone uses real plants and water gets on them, we don't want it to be an issue. So we'll use the Rock Hard Top Coat, which I did not close right last night for this project. I'm going to pour a little bit on this plate. I don't like to work right out of my containers. Your brushes can deposit like bacteria or you know, debris into your containers, and then you close them up and you put them away. So that bacteria can grow in your product and ruin it. So that's why I really don't like doing that. So this one, I'm gonna have 2 pieces here. Maybe I'll just decoupage them together. Since these are so small, we can just treat it like one piece. That is what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna go ahead and put product on here, and this is just the Rock Hard Top Coat is what I'm using to decoupage. I like to start off on one end and kind of anchor my paper down and then do the rest. That way I don't have to worry about my paper shifting or moving once I've decided where I want to put it. You'll note that I'm making like it's not a perfect straight line, but I'm making a straight line from where I'm going to stop. That's going to make it easier to fold my paper back before moving on to the rest of my project. Now, one of the things I like to do is I'll take some saran wrap and I'll just take a little piece off of this, and I'm going to make a little ball, just kind of a wad of saran wrap, and I'll use this to manipulate my paper. And what it does is it eliminates the friction that I would normally get with my hands, and so I'm less likely to tear my paper if I use this, and so I can be a little bit more aggressive manipulating my paper with the saran wrap than I can if I just use my hands alone. So I'm going to dry this really quickly, you guys, with my dryer, and then we can trim it. I just love my dryer. I'll trim it first. This is just a sanding block. You guys can get this at any of your hardware stores. And this is a 220 grit, which is my favorite for trimming my decoupage paper. So I'm just going to sand this in one direction all the way around. And then we work with these pieces together. So I'm going to use my X-Acto knife and just trim that in the middle. You want to make sure of a couple of things when you're trimming your decoupage paper for best results. It's best when your paper is dry. It's less likely to tear before you trim. And then if you're going to be cutting your paper, you really want to make sure that you have a really sharp blade that's not going to drag and tear your paper. I'm just going to go over the top. And so I'm using my marine grade sealer to both decoupage and to seal my decoupage. So I'm using it as the adhesive and the sealer for this project. We'll set those aside and let those dry while we decoupage the Santas. And so for the other two blocks, I thought it would be fun to decoupage Santa. I might do these separately just because I want to capture different parts of the paper. I'm thinking that we want to have Santa on his bike with the elves up top on this one, and I want to have the elves separately on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this right down the middle. This particular design is also available in a larger design, you guys, and the way that it's made, you can certainly use it as one piece of paper as a scene, but you can cut it apart to make to emphasize different portions if you're working on a smaller project. So we have Santa's elves up top, and we have Santa on the bottom, and I think that's what I want to do. And because I'm wanting to have this in a really specific like place, I'm going to lift it like that and really just put one narrow row here just to tack it down so that I don't have to worry about it moving once I get it tacked. I'm curious to know, have you guys ever decoupaged before? I always wonder about that when I'm teaching. How many of you out there have decoupaged before? Because I know we used to decoupage years ago. Or maybe it's just been a long time since you decoupaged. Let's let that one sit and dry. And then we'll get this one. I think these gnomes hanging up the garland are so cute. Let's see, should we sacrifice a gnome in order to get a Christmas tree in there? I vote yes. So let's position it so that we get the gnomes working on the tree and the gnomes working on the house in the same shot. Perfect. So let's go ahead and coat these. We'll dry it and trim it, and then we'll be ready to go on to the next step. Now that we have our blocks all decoupaged and dried, aren't they just super cute? But right now they're just decoupage blocks, so let's make them risers. I found these little blocks in the craft section at the Dollar Tree, you guys. I got all these for $1, and I thought they would be perfect to make risers for these little guys. And so we're just going to use these as little feet. to put on there. But I need to make a decision if we're gonna stain the edges or if we're gonna paint them white. I'm almost feeling like I should paint them white and use a little bit of glaze to make them look like maybe you pulled out some old Christmas decorations for this project. So before we put our feet on, we might as well go ahead and get them painted now. Or no, let me think. Let's glue them on first. Then we'll paint the whole thing at one time. So this is super easy, and make sure this one's dry. I know one of them still had a little bit. We're just gonna turn them over and we're gonna glue these feet onto the bottom. And I know you guys are thinking like, Royce, what on earth are you gonna do with these small risers? But in one of our lives for the holidays, we'll be decoupaging soup cans. And soup cans are all the same height. Well, if you had small risers like this, you could use them to create varying heights with your cans to get that really, really nice like designed look with your tablescapes. You could even stack these on top of each other if you wanted to create different heights. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So I'm gonna go ahead and get feet on all the rest of these, and then we'll come back and we're gonna stain these and we're going to antique them just a little bit. To make sure that our sides look good, you guys, we're gonna use some Wise Owl glaze. Now, I always use a mixture of glazes whenever I stain wood, and it's a 50-50 mixture of black walnut and Java. There are two different glazes, but on my website, I do have a kit where you can get 2 8-ounces. I mean, you can get 1 8-ounce of each color and a 5-fold bottle so that you can mix your own special mixture. And so I'm just gonna put a little bit on the other side of my plates. And I am literally just gonna wipe this on, brush it on, and wipe it back. So basically we're taking the color from the glaze and we are depositing it into our wood grain. I'm gonna moisten these just a little bit. You don't wanna wet your wood because you don't want there to be puddled water on here. That's gonna dilute your glaze. But I'm gonna spritz it a little bit just to get my wood grain to open up just a little bit. Just a wee bit. I'm gonna go ahead and do all of them. And the moisture just gets your wood grain to open up so that when you put the glaze on there, it just absorbs deeper into your wood. And don't worry about my paper. It's just a little water. It'll be fine. And so I'm just gonna rub that and make sure that I don't have any water pools on the top, but that it's absorbed in there. And apply the glaze and wipe it back. That's it. I love using glaze when I am staining my wood because it's non-toxic. So Wise Owl glaze has 0 VOCs. And also because it's gonna dry a lot faster than glaze or oil-based glaze would dry. You wanna let it sit on there for a few minutes, but you don't want it to dry on your piece. So you do wanna move fairly quickly. when you're staining with the glaze. So I'm gonna wipe this back really quickly. Look at that, super easy. And you have this beautiful color on your risers, like they're stained. And I'm gonna go through and just make sure that I stain everything that's gonna be visible. I've already sealed the top of this, so I can glaze it and I don't have to worry about it absorbing too much, but I do kind of want to antique these a little bit. I'm gonna go around the edge and just add a little bit of glaze, and then I'm gonna wipe that back. Okay, now that I have them all stained and we use a little bit of the glaze also over the top to kind of antique it a little bit, we're going to go ahead and seal the tops again just for good measure, but we're also going to make sure and seal the wood around the bottom. So I'm using the Funkature DIY's Rock Hard Top Coat, same as last time. It's what we use the decoupage with, and it's also what we're using to seal with. And this is a marine gray top coat, which is really nice. It's a water-based marine gray top coat, which if you clean it up when it's still new, you guys, it's simple soap and water cleanup. You do normally want to wait 24 hours before applying your second coat for maximum protection. I gotta figure out how to hold this without touching it. So I'm just squeezing my fingers along the inside of the rim there so that I don't have to touch the outside while I seal. And I'm going in order, you guys, so that I don't forget to seal something. So I did all the sides. Now I'm going in and I'm doing all of the insides of the legs and the bottom, so that hopefully I don't forget any part. And again, just in case someone wants to use real plants on their tablescape and they're going to need to be watered, you won't have to worry about your little mini risers getting ruined. And just like that, you guys, we're done. So again, if you have a centerpiece, you can use these stacked on top of each other. You can use them individually. You can use them one at a time, or you could even put them together to make them like one larger riser, right? So I think having the smaller risers like this just really gives you a lot of flexibility in how you use them, so that your tables are going to be absolutely beautiful. I always think about centerpieces and tablescapes for fall. I don't know why. Fall and Christmas are the time of year where I think it's fun to celebrate. Okay, now that they're all finished, you guys, look how cute they are. And these are totally functional. They're really cute, but they're totally functional. So you can stack them. I can use these 4 together to make one big riser. I could make, you know, 2 risers, or I can have different level risers by stacking them on top of each other. So they're super functional, really cute. And I cannot wait to see how you guys use these in your centerpieces and your tablescapes. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, my name is Royce Hunt Bell, owner of Roycycled Treasures. If you guys are looking for any of the items we used in today's video, you can find it below in the description. My website is www.roycycled.com. For the decoupage papers, I do have retailers all over the US, Canada, and Germany and in France. And so look on the locator and see if you can find someone near you. If you don't have anyone in your area, you guys, just check out the person closest to you. I'm sure they'd be willing to ship to you. Thank you again for joining. Make sure and subscribe, you guys, if you'd like to see more tutorials like this one. And if you hit the bell, you'll get alerted every time we upload a new video. Thank you. Have a blessed day.